I think I might be a dick eater.
Why?
Because this is the problem, like, I'm starting to see is that see, like, all of these video games came out, and I didn't play really hardly any of them because I was so addicted to WoW.
It's not your fault because I was in the same boat, but it wasn't WoW I was playing. I was playing other games. So while I did know these games were coming out and I did want to play them, I was playing other games instead of them. I think it's a constant problem we all have is like there's just too many games. And this is like a whole you could do a whole video series on this and I'm sure people already have. But the triple A industry could collapse tomorrow. And I genuinely wouldn't care. I really wouldn't. It would change the dynamic of my channel and what I talked about, sure. But I think Hypnotic said it the other day when it was just like, he's been gifted so many games that he could play a game every day for the rest of the foreseeable future without coming up for air and being able to look for a new game for forever. Like it's like there's just so many games that we want to play that we don't have time to get to. So new companies coming out with new games or new companies coming out with new games, either way, they really need to wow and impress. Like Monster Hunter Wilds, it does move the needle. It is a very good game and it is worth the time to play it. I've come to that conclusion for me personally. If you don't like Monster Hunter games, obviously you'll disagree with me on that. But like a game like Avowed, which yes, got gifted to me by I think it was Paradapout that gifted it to me. Like that's a game where I'm like, well, I'll play it because it got gifted to me, but otherwise I would not go out of my way for that game. You know what I mean? I got Assassin's Creed Shadows gifted to me. Not a game that I cared about playing at all. I just wanted to poke fun at it, but now that it's gifted to me, I will be playing it. Yes, because it got gifted to me. But these are the situations we're in right now. It's like I didn't necessarily want them. I wasn't going out of my way to ask for them, but they got gifted to me. And I'm like, okay, I've been talking about them enough. I should probably play them anyways. So my greater point being is there's too many games and not enough time. There's not enough time. Asian Sword says, yeah, it was that's what I thought. I'm trying my best to remember who gave me what, but holy crap. It's been Heavenly Justice said that was me. I sent it to you. Wait, which one? You sent me Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? And Piranha Pout gifted me Avowed. I think that's what it was. But I'm trying my best to keep track. Like you guys have gifted so many games. It's been wild. So I'm trying my best to get through them, but holy crap, there's only so much time in the day, right? But back to my greater point, it's like you don't even need new games coming out. And I know that's like kind of a controversial thing to say, but at the same time, it's not really a controversial thing to say because it's like if anyone tries to take you to task on it, they're not a real gamer because they don't understand the games that are out there. They have not played them all. They're just like, no, we need new games. We need new games. It's like, I'm not going to say no to new games. Like, sure, keep coming out with new games. Please move the industry forward. Come out with Nintendo Switch 2. Come out with new games for that. Yeah, I'm all about it. Metroid Prime 4, let's have it. Mario Odyssey 2, let's see it. I'm here for it. Tears of the Kingdom 2, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, whatever the third follow-up, I'll be there day one. But beyond these games, it's like, what are we doing? What else do we got that's worth it? Because otherwise, I want to go back to these other games that I missed.
And so, like, this is kind of like
oh yeah, and that's the other thing. Justin Davis, I'm so glad you're here, and I want to say thank you to you personally, or at least digitally through here. Justin Davis, when I woke up this morning, that was another game that was in my email inbox. Jade Empire was gifted by Justin Davis. So shout out to Justin Davis. That was a game we were talking about yesterday or 2 days ago. I can't remember now. Where everyone was like, oh, you haven't played KOTOR or Jade Empire? I'm like, no, I never played those, but I really want to. And what do you know? The next day I got Jade Empire gifted to me. So holy crap. Shout out to Justin Davis for that. You fucking legend. You're amazing. You guys are way too kind. Like, you're way too kind to me. I don't have the words to say anything more. I don't even know. Just know, like, genuinely, like, it means so much to me. I really genuinely appreciate it. And the only thing I can try to do is just give back the time and and put the time into the games for you. I just need more time in the day. I really do.
It's like showing a caveman like a fucking an Atari. He's gonna think it's got the greatest graphics ever, right? And then you compare it, like then you show him a Super Nintendo. He's like, "Wow, this is way better."
Yep.
Am I the caveman?
Well, no, the problem is with retro game systems. This is what I talked about before too. Like, the leap from, and we all know this, anyone that's gaming for a while would know, the leap from Tandy, Commodore 64, Atari 2600 to the NES was massive. Like, massive. And I'm including like the cassette tape player, the floppy disk drive for the Commodore 64. The Nintendo blew that out of the water. Like, it was revolutionizing an entire industry with a console. And then the Super Nintendo came out, and it flipped the industry on its head again. And sure, the Master System was there, and the Genesis were good too. Like, those were good too. But it was really, for me at least, like, I played them all because I was very fortunate when I was a kid. My brothers were very into gaming, so they got me into gaming when I was like in diapers. And I had I'm the youngest in my family. So I had every console growing up. And I didn't have to worry about buying them because they were older than me and they brought everything. It was amazing. So I blame my addiction on gaming on my childhood, but it's a good thing to blame. But the leaps back then were generational leaps. I even remember like the Super Nintendo to the PlayStation 1 was surreal. Like, it felt like I don't do drugs, but it felt like a drug-induced coma where I'm just like, is this reality? Like, seeing playing Jumping Flash on the PlayStation 1. Trying to think some of the OG games. Battle Arena to Shinden, Ridge Racer. Like, playing those games coming from the Super Nintendo to PS1 was surreal. It was surreal. And there was so many other banger games. I can't think of them off the top of my head. That were coming out for the PS1 early on. That was so good. And the long boxes. It was amazing. And then the PS1 to the PS2, huge leap. And the PS2 to the PS3 was like it's still a pretty big leap. It's still a big leap, but it's like we're starting to like, it's going from like polygons to less polygons. It's like, okay, it's still pretty good. It's still pretty good. But what was it the PS2 to the PS3 and Dreamcast? Was that the time? Was it PS2 to Dreamcast to PS3? I don't remember. When the Dreamcast came out, that was really, I almost feel like the Dreamcast was like the peak of graphics. Like, the Dreamcast was the peak. And now, like, looking back, games coming out now, you go back and play the Dreamcast and it's like, it's pretty comparable. Like, sure, it's a little bit better than Dreamcast. Yeah, but the Dreamcast was before the PS2? Wow. Are you sure? Damn. If that's the case, damn. See, I'm already mixing up my years on it. My greater point being is like the generational leaps have stopped. The Saturn was peak? No. Dreamcast was peak. But my greater point being is like after the Dreamcast and then the PlayStation 2, it was like, okay, everything was like marginally a little bit better. I guess the PS3 was like a little bit better than Dreamcast, but it was hard to tell. It really was. Dreamcast was $99.99. Wow, that's true. I should remember that too because I got it on day one. What else? But yeah, now we find ourselves here where we're like looking back at games from 10 years ago and comparing them to Avowed, and I don't know which one's which. That's bad. That's bad. So, anyways, that's my greater point. It's like, why would you buy a new game when a game that came out 10 years ago is indistinguishable from the new game, but better? He's still paused.
I think I might
we
be
go.
the caveman. Because I was stuck in the WoW cave for 20 years. Because like I didn't even really understand this until I played Dragon's Dogma 1. And I played that game and I walked outside Grand Soren and it played that music.
What's up, Batman?
And I was like, I think I've been eating shit for too long. I've been a shit eater and a dick eater for way too long. And I didn't even
What's up, Brown Pout? We were just talking about you.
What I was doing to myself. And
Asmon is having
it spit it out. I did.
I think to a certain extent we kind of all are. As we're getting older and seeing these games coming out, we're just like, look, it's got to be better than they used to be, and they're just not. They're just not. I feel like Ubisoft, ironically, was the first place I ever heard a AAA company acknowledge that. And I need to find that interview because I watched it a while ago. And it was one of the directors of Assassin's Creed talking about how they're not competing against games that are coming out right now when they make an Assassin's Creed game. They're competing against older Assassin's Creed games that are so good and so cheap that so many people have not played, that if you don't make a game better than what already exists, you will lose out to yourself. And you won't make any money on the game you're selling right now. People will just go to the back catalog and play the older ones. That's what's starting to happen. And I think that's kind of the precipice of DEI. And I've talked about this before too, where it's like, that's what kind of made DEI take off, was they were looking for a reason to make you feel bad about playing games from yesteryear, to make you feel like it was immoral or that it was made by teams of racists or just white people. Or I think that was the initial intent of it, which is why they're picking up and running with it. And these corporations, I wouldn't be surprised if there were boardroom meetings where that's what they were talking about, where they were genuinely concerned about competing against their older games. So instead of trying to make better games, they were like, we need to change the mindset of the gamer. And by doing that, we can sell slop to them and make them feel like the game is new and different, when in reality, it's not. And gamers saw right through it. And that pissed them the fuck off.